You're the guy people call when they need a helping hand, moving furniture, unloading a truck. But lately, your shoulder's been acting up, and you're the one who's calling for help. And that's the moment you realize you can no longer shoulder the load.
The Joint and Spine Center is Cincinnati's leading destination for orthopedic care, with a range of surgical and non-surgical treatments. So when a moment has the power to change the rest of your life, go to the one place with the power to change it for the better, the Christ Hospital Health Network. This changes everything.
The Pound This Podcast is brought to you by the Christ Hospital Health Network. This is the Pound This Podcast, episode 688, Working on Self-Love.
I want to lose weight, but I don't know how to get started.
What should I meal prep every week?
How do I get those sweet booty gains?
Inspiration for your healthy lifestyle. The Pound This Podcast with Amanda Valentine.
Hey friends, welcome to the Pound This Podcast. I am your host, Amanda Valentine, and I have been obese for most of my life. I'm going to say about 6 years old or so, spent well over a decade yo-yo dieting. And then about 10 years ago, I made a New Year's resolution to stop dieting and start making the best decision possible in every moment. And from then, my entire life has changed. I've lost over 100 pounds. I started this podcast at the beginning of 2018 to help other people on their weight loss journeys or their journeys to become healthier people. And I have quit my full-time 9-to-5 job, become a certified personal trainer, a certified nutrition coach, and I want to do everything in my power with my own personal journey to help you on yours. So if you're listening to this podcast and you find any value in any episode you listen to, please, please, please share the love, share with family, friends, anyone you think that could find some benefit from this podcast. And you can always reach out to me with any questions or comments. You can email me at amanda@amandavalentinbites.com. It's my goal to give you the best information possible for your journey and let you know that you're not alone. I appreciate you listening so much, and I would really appreciate you also sharing the love with this small business entrepreneur as I try to make my life's mission helping other people live their best lives. So here we go. Hey friends, thank you so much for listening to the Pound This Podcast. Let's talk about self-love. You know, how easy it is just to completely love yourself. I don't know if you're anything like me, but that has been a struggle for me because, loving yourself through a bad body image is extremely difficult. And for me, going through a weight loss journey and continuing to be on a weight loss journey and a journey to really grow and evolve and feel comfortable in my own skin, it's so difficult. I feel like self-love is such a buzzword now, kind of like self-care. And we hear about that a lot, but it's just kind of like you hear the message of you should love yourself. You need to love yourself more and love yourself first. And you're intellectually I understand that. But actually going through that process, at least for me personally, is extremely difficult. And that's why I wanted to record this episode is, I'm not an expert in finding self-love. I've had some really great guests on this podcast in the past, including Elodie. We did a great Instagram live video together a month ago about self-love. Jenna gets her goals on Instagram, and she's really great about self-love. And I'm sure I will have plenty more guests to discuss this topic and finding some experts in the field. But I want to just kind of talk about my own experience going through my own weight loss journey and still being on it and really trying to find that self-love piece. And it's just really hard. I mean, I've discussed many times on this podcast of how just a weight loss journey itself, or trying to be a healthy version of you, not necessarily losing weight all the time, it's so freaking difficult. And finding self-love has been extremely difficult for me. And I feel like at where I'm at in my own journey right now, I'm really, really focusing on that because I feel like other things will fall into place if I truly, really love myself and love my body and feel comfortable in my own skin. And some days I feel awesome in that arena. And I've been having more and more breakthroughs in that, which I want to discuss. But it is a difficult journey. And if you're kind of going through that where I am at right now, if you're just like, I just really want to love myself again, wear the damn bikini sort of vibe of like, I'm going to love my body no matter what size it is, no matter what imperfections I feel are on my body that everybody is judging me for, of just to really love yourself through it. And oh man, I am really trying to get through that. And I feel like I've like some of the breakthroughs I've had in that arena is, well, one, if you follow me on Instagram at You Compound This, I'm talking about my hot bitch summer, which I know everybody's talking about hot girl summer or whatever. For me, that definition is I just want to feel comfortable in my own body. If I want to wear a bikini, I want to do it without feeling I need to cover up or I need to suck in or kind of hide of like, no, I just want to own it. Like, why do I hate my body so much? Like, why do I feel so uncomfortable in my own body that I feel like I have to hide it even from myself? And that's not fair. And, I've spent a whole lifetime of hating my body and then really lowering my self-worth. Like, I am not worthy of love or connection or anything or success or whatever because this body doesn't match the image I feel like it should be. And that is just so unfair and terrible and a bad way to live, in my opinion. So I'm trying to really, really work on that and just love me. And it's a lot of meditating, taking time to myself, of really thinking about who I am, who I want to be, thinking about the accomplishments I have had, having gratitude for everything I've done, and even the things that I've felt are failures or falling down, and be like, that is a lesson that is moving me forward. It's, everything has a purpose in my mind, and that helps me kind of get through this. And I noticed this was a couple weeks ago that I got out of the shower and, so I'm naked and I'm, brushing my hair and everything else. And I'm like looking at my body in the mirror and I'm like, man, that is a beautiful body. Like, damn, this body has done some amazing things for me and given me an amazing journey. And even where I'm at now of getting through 2020 and trying to do what's best for me and fuel my body and feel comfortable and feel physically able to do the things I want to do. I was like, damn, I am beautiful. I even thought in my head, I'm like, look at this goddess. And I'm like, this body looks amazing. You're a beautiful girl. And I thought that without forcing myself to think that, you know what I mean? Of like to look yourself in the mirror or look at a photo and then really try to see the beauty in it, of like really just naturally I thought that. And I caught myself in that. And I was like, oh my God, I don't know if I've ever really done that before. Have I ever just really looked in a mirror? And my first thought was like, wow, this is a beautiful human. And I think then I caught myself thinking that. And even as I'm saying this out loud, then my immediate thought was like, wow, really into yourself now, huh? What a bitch. And so it's like, whoa, really? I thought the goal here was to look at your body and to think that's beautiful, no matter what it is, of looking at all my stretch marks and my cellulite and looking at the extra skin that's wobbling off of my arms and looking at my aging face and everything else that I could look at and be like, wow, and it's like, oh, you need some improvement. But to really look and admire yourself for a minute, and then the immediate reaction after that is like, wow, you're so full of yourself. Like, calm it down. And it's like, that doesn't feel right. So it's like we're all trying to feel so good and we're trying to do the healthiest things for our body. And then when you accomplish those things and you immediately tear it down again, at least I did. And I'm like, God, that sucks. I'm like, no. There's this voice always telling me I'm not good enough, or, work harder and this body isn't where it needs to be. And then you finally are like, no, I need to work on feeling good about it. And then you finally get there and you still terrorize yourself in a different way. Same thing too, if like you're losing weight or you're trying to get healthy and you have this body that you envisioned for yourself for years and you're still just trashing it. It's like, why are we doing that? Again, I'm not an expert and I'm not a psychologist or a psychiatrist to tell you why the mind does that. And I'm sure there's plenty of reasons why. But for me, I'm like, that doesn't feel like that's supposed to be there. So I'm like, wow, is there really everything I've been trashing myself for is there ever anything that's going to satisfy that terrible voice in my head, and a voice that doesn't feel like it's naturally me? You know, I don't feel like I was born to just trash myself, you know, and I wasn't like a 4-year-old being like, yuck, work harder, girl. Look at that tummy. You know what I mean? It's like, it feels like that's, you know, either like societal programming or marketing or the people around you or whatever. And that's like, that's not your own voice. Like, it feels like we weren't born to naturally do that to ourselves. So after I caught myself doing that, I was like, no, I don't want that voice anymore. And so what if other people think I'm full of myself? God, I'd rather actually love myself and admire my own body and be in that headspace and really honestly be proud of my accomplishments in my body and who I am. And that's more important to me than other people being like, wow, she's really full of herself, and whatever opinions of other people of my attitude or my own body, like, just shut that up of like, God. So I'm like, am I just going to keep living my life hearing other people's voices or that judgment of other people, and then that judgment becomes my own judgment? I'm like, that's such trash. And not to say that I'm having this conversation in my head and I'm having it on by myself on this podcast right now. It's work, right? It's like I caught myself. One, I was like, wow, I've never just been like, you're a goddess. I've never just like, and that thought has never just come into my head about myself, and how amazing I thought that was, and how amazing. And then it was amazing to me that I just immediately tore it down. So it's like, okay, I need to have more of those moments of like, wow, I'm really proud of myself. I'm really grateful for this body. I'm really grateful for this journey, and stay in that headspace. And so whenever I catch myself trashing myself again, be like, no, that's not right. And catch that thought and be like, that's not helping anybody, right? That's not helping me. That's not helping anybody around me to do that. And to be like, okay, that voice needs to shut up. That's not who I am. That's not who I want to be. And I feel like that's so much of any part of this journey is just catching yourself in those moments. And that's, you know, for me, working through binge eating, like that was so much of that, of like going through a binge and stopping and being like, okay, how did I feel leading up to that binge? What made me binge? How did I feel in the binge? And how do I feel afterwards? And really like looking at those ugly things that, you know, you are disassociating from and you're trying to numb out from. And like, no, I want to feel those feelings. Let me feel them, because that binge was for me to not feel them. So let me feel them and let's work through them. And, you know, I know that sounds so like therapy-like, and it probably is, but it's like, really, like if you don't work through those things, that pattern is just going to exist forever. And I have, you know, binge eating issues for such a long time, and they aren't just going to magically poof away until you work on them, right? You know, I've hated exercise for so much of my life. I avoided it. I mean, I took band forever so I could avoid PE, which is just so wild that I'm a personal trainer now. But it's like, I was like, but is this serving me? Does that feel right? Like, it's like, no, well, let's work through that. And why do I hate this so much? Like, why did I put this in a category of this isn't who I am and I hate this? And really looking at that and being like, well, that doesn't really feel like that's going to move me forward. I either stay here forever or I change it. And the process of change is freaking brutal. You know what I mean? It's not easy of doing this self-growth stuff. And, you know, if you don't want to do those things, that's totally fine, man. It's your life. I am not judging you at all. Like, if somebody came up to me and they're like, I don't care, I want to eat Taco Bell every day the rest of my life, I want to binge it, and I, you know, makes me feel like crap, but I'm going to keep doing it because that's my choice. Yo, you do you. It's your life, not mine. I judge you for that choice that you're choosing for yourself. But if you're like, hey, I don't like this choice and I'm really trying to work through it, can you help me? Then absolutely. Like, let's, you know, the same thing with weight loss. And it's like, if you are truly, you know, happy to be where you're at and you love your body at every size, my God, am I jealous, right? Like, I'm like, the people that just like love themselves at whatever stage they are in their life, it's freaking amazing. And I don't understand where people will trash people, and especially, I mean, God, the internet's awful. Or, you know, will fat shame people and tear them apart because of their size. Of like, if they're happy being them, let them be them. damn, it's their life. It's not yours. How is this affecting you in any way if a stranger is choosing to live their life the way they want? Unless it harms somebody or it's harming you, just get over it, in my opinion. But, the internet doesn't really work that way. There's too many people and there's too many attitudes to deal with, which is why I think it's so important to be strong in your own feelings. So those things kind of bounce off of you and you're not swayed or feelings hurt or, jump off of your own path because somebody says something mean, because somebody's always going to say something mean no matter what. Because again, they'll say something, they'll fat shame you and be mean to you because you're a size that they don't like for whatever. And if you do things for yourself and you lose weight and you're feeling yourself, you're like, damn, look at this. And, you're feeling yourself, you put that online, they're mad about that too, right? So we need to get over that. That's why it's like, do this for me, where I'm like, that moment, getting out of the shower, this body is beautiful immediately. Wow, you're so full of yourself. I'm being my own internet troll. That's so stupid. So if I'm solid in my own body confidence, those things can't touch me. And that's what I've been working on a ton. Am I there yet? No. Am I way better than I was before? Yes, because I focus on it and I work on it. The same thing where I focus on my nutrition every day and I focus on how I'm going to move my body every day. And now working on my mental health every day is just as important. And I spent a ton of time never working on my mental health and even sometimes using the diet and exercise to numb out from my own mental health of having something else to focus on. I'll fully admit that I've done that. And I probably still do. I mean, old patterns die hard, man. It doesn't happen overnight. It's a process. It is work. And I think that's why so many of us fail in so many arenas of this, is because it doesn't instantly happen overnight. We don't have that immediate gratification, and we're so used to immediate gratification, and we just want to feel this way, or we want to look this way, or whatever it is. And if it doesn't happen immediately, then we just stop doing it. Or like, I spent 3 months doing this and I didn't get the exact results what I wanted. So why even bother? My God. I mean, it is a lifetime journey. Nothing's going to be flipped upside down. You're going to change everything about yourself in 3 months. Like, let's be real here. And I've been in that mindset before too. Like, God, I've spent decades in that mindset and it's hard to undo that many years of that's who you are and that's how you existed. And now how do you kind of turn that ship around and stop terrorizing yourself and love yourself more? And then even just saying that phrase, the immediate thing that I, bullying myself over is like, wow, that sounds so, crunchy granola. People would be like, well, yeah, okay, Amanda, peace, love. And then we're all just going to love ourselves. And then again, like, look at that. You just, why is that so bad? Why is that a bad thing? Why is it a bad thing to be like, to work on loving yourself? Why does that seem like that's like, oh, that's stupid? You know what I mean? I guess it depends on the people you're surrounding yourself around and the attitudes around that. And like, even at one point in my life, and I've discussed this in my podcast before, of losing weight when I was at the beginning of my weight loss journey, which was this journey where I've lost the weight and maintained and all that fun stuff and completely changed my life, that, I was hanging out with friends and they like cornered me at a dinner party and they're just like, we don't understand why you need to lose weight. Like, why can't you just love yourself right now? And like, they were just like being mean, you know what I mean? Where I was just like, and I was at this dinner party drinking wine and eating snacks. And like, it wasn't like I brought my own bag of celery and I was being a bummer or anything like that. And even if I was, that's my own damn choice. But like, I was like, I don't understand where this is coming from. They're like, well, why? I don't understand why you need to do this. And I was like, because I wish I loved myself in this body right now. And I don't. I really wish I did. But I don't. And I physically can't do the things that I want to. And this just doesn't, this life in this body right now isn't what is serving me. And I want to work on it. And it was just, that was just not being communicated. I was like, yeah, that's great. If you guys love yourself right now, that's freaking awesome. Awesome. I'm not. So I want to change those things. And why is it so unfair to change those things? And it's so weird when you think about it, when it comes to our body and weight loss and stuff like that, of, changing where people have such judgment against it. But if it's like, hey, you know, I'm an alcoholic and I want to work on not being an alcoholic anymore, and I'm trying to go through this process, like that just seems like something, you know, I'm not comparing alcoholism to weight loss. I know that's not a fair comparison, but then it goes into, you know, are people trashing those people of like, oh my God, why can't you just be happy being an alcoholic? Why do you want to change that? Can you imagine? It's just, and you know, for a lot of us, food and stuff like that are addictions. And it's, I don't know. I don't even know if I'm making any sense at this point. But I guess the point is people are going to judge you no matter what. And people are going to have their own opinions about what your body should look like, or what, you know, you hear stories all the time of people have lost weight and they're feeling good about themselves. And then people are like, well, you're too skinny now. Eat a cheeseburger. And it's like, my God, well, you were quote unquote worried about my health and, you know, was supporting my weight loss journey when I started. But now you're telling me that I don't fit exactly the mold that you want me to be in. And I even got a question on Instagram this week that I want to do a whole podcast on too, of like, you know, what if the other people in your life aren't supportive of this? And that makes it even harder. And it is. And it's like, then that's something of like, oh God, you know, and I've been through this before too, of like, well, are you living your life for them? Are you living your life for you? And I know that's really difficult, and that's just an easy thing to say. And there is everybody's situation is so different. And so I'm never here to tell anybody what to do, but it's for me in my life, it's like, well, I'm choosing me over you. I'm sorry that I'm, you know, or a friend of mine would be like, I can tell you're walking right now, and was like pissy with me for exercising and doing things. And I'm like, well, I'm not going to stop doing them because it makes you uncomfortable. I'm doing this for me, and I'm going to keep doing it. And eventually that person will get out of my life, whether by their choice or mine. And ultimately it's like, it's so important to choose you. And at least in my experience, by choosing me, the whole circle of your life changes. And it's sad because there's people you love so much and they don't get to stay around, but it's like this new version of you, this happier, living your purpose, loving your body version of you, doing healthy choices for you, kind of gravitates to more people that are supportive of that. And isn't that who we want in our life, as a support team, not people to trash on us because we're trying to do something to better ourselves? So I don't know. It's so hard to get away from the judgment of others. And again, it's easier said than done. But for me, in my own self-love journey, things that have been helping me are writing affirmations to myself right here in front of me. I will tell you the things that I have. Multiple Post-it notes. I have, I am miraculous, because why not use a big ass word like that? I am powerful. I am abundant. I am strong. I am beautiful. I have you inspire. You help people. You're loving yourself. You're a personal trainer. I wrote that because I, for some reason, think I have issues with that. Like, I don't identify with that in weird, strange ways. That's a whole nother topic. I wrote, you're eating healthy and you're taking care of your mind. These are all notes that are either on the table in front of me or they're on the wall next to me, because the way you talk to yourself turns into, you know, your actions and your thoughts. And I want to believe these things about myself. And if other people say these things to me, I want to believe them. You know what I mean? So it's like, for me, having those kind of affirmations, thinking about who I want to be, how I want to show up in the world. You know, I'm talking specifically mental health here, and really kind of loving myself. And then when I have those moments or I'll have like, you know, a total like rage moment, or I'll just like, you know, the spurt of anger, or I'm doing things that I'm like, oh, is this serving the person that I want to be? Is this really loving myself? Is getting super angry because my contacts won't go in right? Is throwing the bottle of solution across the bathroom? Is that really going to help me? Is that who I really want to be? Is that really like me loving myself and catching myself in those moments of like, oh, you know, probably not. You know, that's probably going to keep happening to a degree, but if I catch myself enough, maybe I'll do it less. And through that, and then actually working through those things, then I see that I'm doing the work and I love myself more. Back to the binge eating thing of just where I'm at now compared to where I am in binge eating. I've done that work. Like, I have sat through those feelings. I have worked through that, and I can say I'm proud of myself and I love myself for doing hard things like that. Those things are incredibly hard, and I absolutely think that you should get help if you have issues like that. Gallia Collaborative is absolutely amazing if you're here in Cincinnati, but it's like, it's you're putting the work into yourself, whether you're choosing to eat broccoli over Cheetos, whether you're choosing to go for a walk instead of sit on the couch, or you're choosing to catch yourself ready to go into a binge and understand your feelings, and can you find a better outlet? Those small things are acts of self-love. You're doing this for yourself, and the more you catch yourself and the more you do it, I feel like the more you're going to love yourself, because you're building that momentum. You're proud of yourself for making that choice. You're loving you, and you're doing those things to love you more. And the more you do them, the better it is. For me, again, I had a moment where I caught my body and I admired it. I called myself a damn goddess, and that is new for me. I am about to be 39 years old on August 7th. I am almost 40, and it has taken me that long to actually look in the mirror once and been like, wow, this is a beautiful human. Look at this body. This body is amazing. Instead of like, ugh, could lose some more weight. Ugh, look at this. Oh, I wish my hips weren't so wide. I can't wear shorts. Ugh, you know what I mean? Of a lifetime of that, to have those moments of like, wow, I'm loving this life. I'm loving. I have so much gratitude for everything I've done for myself and everyone in my life and everything I have, and to actually really feel that. And do I feel that way all the time? No. Do I feel that way in this exact moment? I guess a little bit. I'm not. I don't know. I'm doing a podcast, but it's like, it's work. I want to have more of those moments. I want to live more in that headspace, and I'm going to keep working on it. So I just want to say, if that's where you want to be at too, and I feel like so many of us do, that don't give up on it. It is absolutely possible. Are you going to be in it all the time? No. But you can have those moments, and you can have more of them than the trashy moments. You know what I mean? Of you are worth it. It's absolutely doable no matter who you are. You can absolutely get that accomplished. If you think of like, oh, I'm never going to get there, I'm so far beyond that, bullshit. No, like, if this is what you want for yourself, if you want to love yourself more, if you want to have more appreciation, you can absolutely get that done. Do the work yourself, or involve other people to help you in that work, and have a good support system around you. Because, I don't know, just having kind of those moments for me, it's just, I don't know, it feels like a breakthrough moment of, wow, I'm really starting to do this. I preach the whole like self-love thing and can have conversations about it, but can I really, really deeply feel that myself, and to be able to actually do that is absolutely amazing. And do I wish I was in it all the time? Yeah, that'd be cool. But hey, if it's only a couple times a week, that's better than it used to be. It's way better than it used to be. Those gradual baby steps forward will get you there. So if you ever are struggling with something like this, again, I'm not the expert in this arena, but I understand it, and I'm happy to have a conversation or answer questions or be whatever resource you need me to do. You can always email me, Amanda@AmandaValentineBites.com. You can find me on Instagram and TikTok at You Can Pound This, and Amanda Valentine Bites on Facebook. I mean, there's a million ways to get a hold of me. Or you can come train with me if you're in Cincinnati. You can come to Cincy 360 Fitness, and I can be your personal trainer, and we can have these conversations while, we're pushing a sled around. Maybe not while you're pushing the sled. It's kind of hard to talk, but you know what I mean. So I hope this episode was helpful. I just feel like this is a topic that it seems like commercialized so much at this point. Like, it almost feels like it's a Dove ad, like, love yourself. But it's something that's necessary, and it's hard, and it's absolutely doable to do it in the ways that you need it for you. And I don't know anybody in my personal life that just lives in this very self-loving mindset all the time. And everybody's trying to work on it on their own degree. And I think that's just amazing. So don't beat yourself up like we're good at, right? That because you're not this, self-love master. Or thinking of like, oh, well, I should be more into meditation, but you only find yourself doing it once a week. And you're just like, well, God, if I was good at it, I'd do it 7 days a week. Maybe can you just appreciate that you did it once a week? Right? Or even like the same thing with the gym of like, oh, I only went to the gym once this week. God, I'm so terrible. I'm no good at this. I'm like, you still showed up once. Why is that? Look at that. You showed up for yourself. So feel that feeling and maybe try to do it some more or whatever you need to do. So I don't know. I just hope feeling those feelings for some brief moments. It's absolutely amazing. And I wish that for everybody. And I hope that you're working on mental health and loving yourself through whatever journey that you're on, because I feel it makes everything else fall into place of thinking of, I'm eating this green smoothie or drinking this green smoothie, and I'm doing this for me because I love my body and I want my body to do amazing things. And instead of like, God, I'm so fat, I need to drink a green smoothie so I can be less fat, of kind of flipping the mindset on those sorts of things. You're doing these things to love yourself, not because you hate yourself. You're exercising because you love your body, not because you're punishing it because you wolfed down a full pizza yesterday. You know what I mean? Maybe that eating a whole pizza was an act of self-love in some sort of way of like, this is the best pizza on earth and I ate this without any guilt and I felt amazing doing it. Again, it's all mindset. It's all the perspective of what you got. Of one person will trash you for eating a full pizza and another person will say, well, damn, that's good for you. You've had a rough week, and if that made you feel awesome, then do what you got to do. And again, don't worry about what other people say about it. As long as you're feeling those things yourself, what you tell yourself matters the most. On that note, I'm going to peace out because I'm just going to keep rambling. Thank you so much for listening. I'll talk to you later.
For info on health coaching and more, go to AmandaValentineBites.com.